Welcome to Kitchen Chat. This is where we sample the talents of the most notorious chefs, home cooks, foodies, and celebrities that sizzle. Get ready for a culinary journey that you won't find anywhere else. Here's the host of Kitchen Chat, Margaret McSweeney.
Welcome to a special series of Kitchen Chat, a taste of luxury, history, and hospitality. This is your host, Margaret McSweeney, and I'm so glad you're joining me on this delicious journey. Today, let's travel to the majestic Mendocino coast, where we will visit an historic Victorian home, which is now a boutique inn. The MacCallum House is located in the heart of Mendocino. You might even recognize one of the landmarks in town, the Blair House. This is where Angela Lansbury's character, Jessica Fletcher, lived in Cabot Cove, Maine, for the filming of Murder, She Wrote. Today, we'll sit down with the general manager of MacCallum House, Saya Hansen, who will share the fascinating history of this home and its original homeowner, Daisy MacCallum. We will also sample the delicacies prepared by executive chef Alan Kantor. He was trained at the prestigious Culinary Institute of America and has so many accolades and awards. Let's explore MacCallum House.
So the house was built in 1882 as a wedding gift to Daisy MacCallum from her father, who was one of the local lumber barons.
Okay, a wedding gift. What a beautiful wedding gift.
Exactly.
And all of this is original.
Yes. The main house is all original, has 3 fireplaces that are all original with Riverstone.
This is beautiful. So I'd love to hear a little history about Daisy MacCallum. That was the bride who received this beautiful present. I hear she was a force to reckon with.
She was. She loved to garden, so we've always tried to keep gardens, up to par. She also loved to travel. She was there at the opening of King Tut's tomb.
I just wanted to add an interesting side note about Daisy. This was from an article in the Beacon almost 70 years ago. It says, she was present at the opening of King Tut's tomb. One of the greatest and most moving experiences of her life was seeing the removal of the gold-encrusted and jeweled chariot, and the fact that she was able to lay her hand on the ancient relic, perhaps the only person to do so before a guard was thrown around the treasure. What a woman of adventure. She was also a true lady and quite philanthropic and cared so much about Mendocino. She loved this home.
She did.
Oh, so some of the gardens, it's just vibrant. There was, what is that purple flower?
So there is the Mexican sage that we have.
Yes.
And then there's also the princess flower that are the bigger purple ones.
Oh, and that's right in front. Oh, and it's just so picturesque. There's a white picket fence in front of the property and with beautiful pink roses. It's just...
And Daisy loved her roses.
Did
she always had multiple different varieties of roses on the property.
And so when did it switch from being a personal, private property to a hotel?
It was in the late 70s. Shepard is going to be the owner of the property. So he's always just loved this area, and he actually started working here for the chef as a dishwasher back in the day, back when he was in high school. And so now he's the owner. And so he's always worked very closely with Alan.
Oh, and Chef Alan is amazing. You will see the interview with him and the truly chef-inspired dishes. This is a great culinary destination. Speaking of Chef Alan Kantor, let's explore the culinary creations featured at his restaurant at MacCallum House. I thoroughly enjoyed the smoking gun salmon appetizer and the pan-roasted Alaskan halibut dishes, which he will discuss.
This year we have a pastrami rub that we do on it, and then we cure the salmon and press it for a week, and then slice it thin, and we put it under glass, and we put cold smoke into the glass. and then reveal it at the table. So chips with it, and a house-made creme fraiche. I try not to say house-made too much, but that's our specialty, is making everything here on the property, using solid techniques and high-quality ingredients. Rely on local ingredients. In California, you can pretty much find anything at this point, and so much great artistry and artisan work with cheeses and small farm meats and vegetables. We like to use a lot of the local foraged ingredients. And in that dish, there's the lobster mushroom. Yes. It has a great texture. It's firm and crispy. You have to slice it really thin. And it imparts almost a lobster flavor. It's got a kind of a sweetness that works with the corn. The influence from that came probably from working in New England as a kid, and lobster and corn, bakes and stuff like that. Beach parties and stuff like that. So anyway, so it's a great combination. Yes. Local lobster mushrooms, and then some sweet corn, and a little bit of cream. And also the lobster mushrooms give a bit of a yellow tinge to the sauce, so it almost looks like a saffron sauce or something. And then bacon, so again, like a New England kind of a corn bacon chowder kind of dish underneath as a bed for the halibut.
And then you also have nightly noodles, and we had the duck noodle.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about that dish as well?
We've been making pasta in the house for many years, and the duck comes from Jim Reichart at Liberty Duck Farm in Pengrove, which is outside Petaluma. And he's probably one of the most, it's a very small farm, and one of the foremost experts on raising ducks in the country.
It was outstanding. And then, of course, we have to talk about your desserts. It was a beautiful way to end a delicious dinner. I had this chocolate extravaganza.
It features a budino. It's an Italian pudding cake. It's basically just whipped eggs and melted chocolate and butter folded together and then baked. Yes. And so it's very soft, and we serve it warm. And then we make our own chocolate sauce and caramel sauce, and then we were featuring a chipotle mezcal truffle with it last night, and chocolate ice cream with that. Yeah.
Yes, and this
with some Cabernet cherries.
With the Cabernet. I love that we're in wine country, and you created a chocolate Cabernet ice cream.
Chocolate Cabernet ice cream, cherry ice cream. So we cooked down the Cabernet wine with some dried Bing cherries, and then chop those up and swirl it into a chocolate ice cream. We use the Cho chocolate out of San Francisco, a small batch company. Yeah.
I've heard of this concept, Chef, where it's ice cream made from cheese. Can you tell us the story behind that?
Yeah, so I've been making ice cream forever, and I was in Oaxaca, and they had these little caramels that were made from goat milk. So they reduced the goat milk down into these caramels, and so it kind of worked from there. It is a stirred custard base with cow milk and egg yolks and sugar, and then we add Laura Chanel goat cheese to it, fromage blanc, and then melt that down in there. Has a little bit of agave, and and then from there we make our own caramel, and we swirl the caramel into that, and it has a little bit of salt and salted caramel sauce in there too.
I had a bite, and that was exquisite. Everything, and then breakfast this morning, and it's so delicious. Your hollandaise sauce. What is your secret to the sauce with that?
No secret. It's just fresh ingredients, good butter and local butter, and organic as much as possible to do with everything. So the egg yolks and lemon juice, and there's a little bit of white wine in there, and a little bit of hot sauce in there.
I love that. The protein bowl was so colorful, and it had a surprising kick with the homemade salsa that you had.
It's a habanero salsa.
Oh,
it's really good.
That was great.
The quinoa, it's got some, it's high protein, and then kale, and then a little bit of zucchini that a local lady's been growing for us.
So the MacCallum House is located right in the heart of the village, which is just, such an ideal spot. You can just park and you don't have to drive anywhere for the rest of your stay. You can walk to the beach, to all the shops, to all the different restaurants, and it's a beautiful area. We just had a wedding this past weekend, so it's a great spot for a destination wedding as well. Working the events has to be my favorite part. Yes. And then having those couples come back every year for their anniversaries and see their families grow and just hear the stories of what they've been up to since they got married here.
I love that. It's a place of legacy, family celebrations, and so many things to do right here with the backdrop of the ocean. Thank you, Saya, and thank you, Chef Alan Kantor, for a taste of the local flavors. A big thank you to Heather from Chalkboard Communications. Please visit MacCallumHouse.com and follow them on Instagram at MacCallum_house. And please visit kitchenchat.info and follow Kitchen Chat on Instagram, where you will find inspiration for your next destination. Thank you for joining me on this delicious journey, and always remember to take a moment and savor the day.